Oh. Oh.
Hello, finished?
Yes, sir.
Output. So given your output. See, with respect to this program, tracing, it's nothing like s equal to this is a test. Okay, so it will be stored in memory. The thing is, you have to remember the library methods, that is built-in methods, two uppercase and two lowercase, which is present in Java class library. That is, class is string. From that class, we are getting these methods, and we should know how to use. Okay, so when you are writing these methods, so you should not give any blank space in between the words, two space upper space case, and you should not write two underscore upper underscore case also. Okay, so how they have defined, in the same way we have to use the methods in our program. So we have to remember the method names which we have to use at the correct point wherever it is required in our program. Okay, finish writing output.
Yes, sir.
So we will move to string buffer chapter, okay, which is related to string only. We just copy the topic name, string buffer. Okay, okay, so you copy the topic from little bit tracing part. I will explain. I'll try to explain what it is. See, 1 minute. See, you look at this image file. See, what they're telling is string represents fixed length, immutable. So immutable means which is not changing. Okay, the meaning of immutable is which will not change, or we can call it as a constant. So fixed length. So the meaning of fixed length is fixed. It is not. It will not change. Length will not change. Whereas string buffer represents growable. First, we will see this first part of the sentence: fixed length or immutable. That is constant or unchanging. So if you look at the image file here, okay, see strOb1 object is there, right? For this, the letters are first string. Okay, so if you observe the memory location of this this thing, first string, See, it occupies 12 locations. You see the length. StrOb1 dot length equals to 12 locations. That means it is fixed. For example, if you add any extra letter for this or any extra symbol or digit, anything, it will not add in this location. That means when we concatenate any word for this, it will take new memory representation. Okay. Here only it will not add because here length is fixed. That only they are telling. In case of strings, it is fixed length. You cannot add extra letters or characters or digit to the original string. If we are adding, that means if we are concatenating, new memory is created and entire string is copied to that new memory. So for example, in a string concatenation, if you consider this, this one. So just look at this method only here. Some example is there. I will show you. So you just look at this line. See, strOb1 equals to first string, strOb2 equal to second string. So now what we are doing is strOb1 and strOb2 we are combining. First string and second string we are combining. So if you are combining in this way, then that combined string you cannot store in strOb1 or strOb2. That means in strOb1 whatever the contents are there, first string it is fixed. You cannot add extra thing. And in strOb2 whatever the contents are there, it is fixed. So you cannot add extra characters in that. Then what we have to do when we combine first string and second string, so you combine it and you create one more object strOb3, in that you should store. Then that means it has to create a new memory, and in that memory, so we have to store the combined string, so that it is the concept is we cannot change the original string, so we have to create a new, that is we have to create a new memory, and in that we have to store the combined string. That is the meaning of strings. Okay, but when it comes to string buffer, in the original string only we can change. So in the examples we'll come to know, and in the definition we will see how it is. Okay, look here. Whereas string buffer represent growable. So growable means if suppose if I have taken 5 locations like this string HELLO, so this example we saw, and if you want to add extra character, then it will grow. That means new memory location we can get it. And writable character sequences. String buffer may have character and substrings inserted in the middle or appended to the end. In case of string, we cannot add in the middle or we cannot append it to the end. If we are appending at the end, then new string is created. That is the meaning in case of string. But whereas in string buffer, so new string is not created. In that original string object only we can append it. So these are the string buffer constructors. So string buffer is a class name. So that you have to remember. String is a class name. String buffer is a class name. So when we have the class, then only we can have a constructor. So without a class, we cannot have the constructor, because constructor is a method in a class which have same name as of class name. So string buffer is a class name. So constructor is constructor's name also string buffer only. If you look at these 4 statements, in 4 statements also string buffer names are all constructors. Okay, but they differ in parameters. So they differ in parameters. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here some network bandwidth is low, so I'm asking. Okay. String buffer or the constructors. So if you look at these 4 constructors, see, whenever there is a method name same in all the cases, then we can say method overloading. Okay. So here many concepts will come. First of all, string buffer is a class name, and for that constructor is there, and we have 4 constructors with the same name. So when we have many methods with the same name, because constructor is a method, many methods with the same name, then we can call method overloading. Here in this case, constructor overloading. So string buffer has constructor overloading. So first string buffer has no parameters. Second string buffer constructor has one parameter with the identifier name, size, and the data type is int. Okay. And third string buffer constructor has the one parameter with the identifier name str, that is the string name, and the object is, sorry, class is string. Okay. And here str becomes object. So here you remember size is not an object because the basic data type is int. Okay. So int, float, char, double, boolean. For these data types we cannot get an objects because those are the basic types. So in Java, basic types are not objects, so that we have to remember. Whereas str is an object. Okay, it is identifier plus object. See, all these are identifiers. Size is an identifier, str is an identifier, and chars are all identifiers. But size is just a variable, str is an object, even chars is also object. Okay, so str and char sequence chars is an object. Okay, then so we will see one by one. Okay, string buffer defines the above four constructors. Okay, before that you just take down this notes. So later we will discuss. Okay, so copy this paragraph. In interview they may ask what is the difference between string and string buffer. So this first in first paragraph you will come to know. String represents fixed length which we cannot change, whereas string buffer it is growable and we can change the characters in that either in the middle or can append to the end. And these are the four constructors. So till here you write, we will discuss.
Completed, sir.
So each one we will discuss on. Okay. First, string buffer defines the above four constructors. String buffer with no parameters. The default constructor, the one with no parameters, reserves room for 16 characters. Here, room meaning memory. Okay, it reserves memory for 16 characters. Okay, that means So you can store 16 characters. You can store, for example, for the first time, if you store only 6 characters, then remaining 10 locations will be empty. Again, you can add to that 10 locations. The second version, string buffer int size, accepts an integer argument that explicitly sets the size of the buffer. See, first constructor, default constructor, 16 locations will be available. In the second thing, we can mention our own size. Okay, in the example we will see how to mention and what happens if we mention our own size of type integer. The third version, string buffer, string str, accepts a string argument that sets the initial contents of the string buffer object and reserves room for 16 more characters. See here, in the first case, with no parameters, that is string buffer with no parameters, 16 locations are there. When you come to the third version, whatever the characters you give, for example, if I give A, B, C, D, E, so 5 characters are there. Okay. In addition to the 5 characters, 16 more locations you will get it. So A, B, C, D, E occupies 5 locations. 5 plus 16, it is 21 locations you will get it. Understood? So for example, if we store the string A to J, so that means 10 characters. So A, B, C, D, F up to J. So if you store up to J, then 10 plus 16, that is 26 locations we will get it in that way. Next, fourth version, string buffer, char sequence, chars, creates an object that contains the character sequence contained in characters. Okay, this is also an object only. Group of characters is nothing but the string only. Okay. So in brief, once again I'll tell, string buffer with no parameters. For this we will get 16 locations. String buffer with int size, we can give our own size. So in the example we'll come to know how it happens. Then string buffer with string object str, accept string argument. There, whatever the initial characters we will give, those many locations plus 16 more locations. So 16 plus whatever the characters present inside the string object. So 5 characters, 6 characters, or 10 characters. If there are 10 characters, 10 plus 16. If there are 20 characters, 20 plus 16, like that. And in the fourth version, same, creates an object that contains the character sequence contained in chars. So group of characters we can give. Okay. So these four things you copy. Okay. Finish writing? Finish copying?
No, sir.
Hmm.
Completed, sir.
Now we will see this program. Before that, we have two methods: length and capacity. So for this, in the program only, we will come to know how these things work. So directly, I will go for program. So okay. So in the program, we will be able to understand the string buffer constructor with string object. Okay. So we will see in the program string class name string buffer demo. In the main method, we have, see here, string buffer class name SB is an object. String buffer object equals to new string buffer of HELLO. Okay. That means, so we are storing the characters HELLO in SB string object. Okay, then that we are printing here. So buffer equals to plus SB. We are printing that values, that is characters. Okay, so it will print hello. So if you look at this output, so first time it will print the word hello, then system.out.println length equal to SB dot length. That means we are finding out the length of the string buffer object, that is SB. We are finding out the length of the string buffer object, that is SB. So what is the length? We will see. Length is whatever the characters are there, that length it will calculate. That is HELLO. 5 characters are there. Okay, whether it is capital letters, small letters, digits, or symbols, anything. Blank, even blank space is also counted. So 5 characters are there. So if you observe, if you look at the output, the length is 5. Okay, then next line you see SB dot capacity. So here parentheses are missing. Okay, SB dot capacity. So we will see what is this capacity. Okay, so capacity means you look at the uh, constructor of the string buffer where there is a string object. Here you look at it. The third version string buffer string str, that is string object, accepts a string argument that sets the initial contents of the string buffer object and reserves room means memory, room for 16 more characters. That means, so how many characters are there that we have to count plus 16. That is the capacity. So you just look at this string buffer object SB. We have 5 number of characters, HELLO 5 characters plus 16. So plus 16 is 21. Okay, 5 plus 16 is 21. So that will be the capacity. Okay. For example, if I have the string, say HELLO 5 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So even digits also comes under string only. If you enclose in double quotes, it becomes the string. So now you look here, HELLO 5 characters plus 5 more characters I have put 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. That means here we can consider total length is 10. Okay. Then what about capacity? 10 plus 16. Okay. So these number of characters plus 16 you have to do. So plus 16 means 10 plus 16 is 26. Now capacity becomes 26. So I hope people have understood about this. Okay. Number of characters plus 16 locations you have to count. That will be the capacity. So length is different, capacity is different. The length is the number of characters. Capacity is the number of characters plus 16 you have to do. That is the capacity. So here for this tracing is there. I look here. Okay, in the image file. String SB equals to new string buffer HELLO. When the above statement is executed, we can consider the memory representation as shown below for a string buffer object SB. Okay, see HELLO 5 characters. So starting location is 0. It will end at 4th location. Plus 16 locations you have to put in the memory representation. So 16 means 16 plus 5, 21. So if there are 21 locations, according to array, if you start from 0, it will end at 20. Okay, minus 1 always. If we have 30 locations, it will end at 29. If you have 50 locations, it will end at 49, like that, because it will start from 0. But if we count it from 0 to 20, it will be 21 locations. Okay, so this memory representation you can consider. So before that, you copy the explanation of length and capacity with program. Okay. See, the length and capacity explanation they are given. The current length of a string buffer can be found via the length method, while the total allocated capacity can be found through the capacity method. So these are the two methods. Length is to find the number of characters. Capacity is to find the total memory allocated for that particular string buffer object. Okay. So you copy these two length and capacity explanation and also program.